everybody, my name is Chase from the Disc Golf Underground. Today I'm going to do a one disc round with an Innova Champion Tern, and I'm going to fight that against an Innova Champion Orc. Basically I want to see how I can do by just using an Orc and just using a Tern as I go head to head to see how I do at Zube over 18 holes to see which driver might become more of a staple in my bag as my go-to use for everything driver. The reason I'm comparing the Tern and the Orc is because I usually throw Vibram O-laces. I'm trying to work Vibram out of my bag, not because I don't like the disc, but mostly because I'm trying to find easy replacements without having to spend 30 bucks on a Frisbee every single time I lose one. So I'm trying to work in some more common things. Innova Champion discs have been around for forever. I know I can find Champion Terns and Orcs without too much of a hassle. So that's why I'm using these a lot right now. Currently, my go-to driver that's not a Vibram disc is a Pro Orc that's beat in exactly how I like it. I can hyzer flip it up, it goes straight for forever. I'm looking for something that I don't have to cycle through though, to where I can just pull it out of the bag, throw it, and know I'm going to get the same shot opportunity every single time. I'm here at Zube Park up in Hockley, Texas. It's early in the morning, it's a little bit foggy. Hopefully the camera will work out pretty well as the sun's rising and the clouds or the fog's being burned away. But thank you all for joining. Hope you enjoy the video as I compare the Orc against the Tern. Both brand new, both 175, both hopefully awesome. Thanks. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this edited one disc round where I challenge the Innova Champion Orc against the Innova Champion Tern. This round was pretty interesting. Like I mentioned before in the intro, I wasn't quite sure how these discs were going to work. I have a Pro Orc in my bag now. It's been seasoned pretty well to where I can hyzer flip it and send it straight. I really like it for point and shoot type of approaches. Generally speaking, I can hit it close to the 380 to 400 foot range, occasionally getting it out further, occasionally getting it a little bit shorter, but 380 to 400 is pretty consistent with that particular disc. My go-to driver generally is an O-lace, but it's not just a regular O-lace. It's a light 159 medium O-lace, and I once again hyzer flip that up, get it to do some turn and get it to fall straight. That one I can usually throw about 380 to 400 also. So those two for this course I use a lot on the wide open distance shots. And so what I'm basically trying to do is figure out what disc can I use that I can find in everyday sporting goods stores without having to spend a whole bunch of money online trying to buy Frisbees for 30 bucks or whatnot. Because Vibram being out of print means I have a hard time finding Frisbees whenever I lose them. This particular video is even more important because after I bought all these discs, so I have about 6 brand new Terns and 6 brand new Orcs. I happen to have lost my 159 O-lace in a tournament last week. So it's lost in the water, not to be replaced again, which means I have to get one of these discs to hopefully replace it. So the goal of this round was to throw an Orc and a Tern against each other to kind of see which one flies most like my O-lace that I'm so used to. It's been in my bag literally for 5 years now, and it's not the easiest disc to replace because I seem to throw everything with a slight hyzer flip, and I don't really throw flat, and I don't necessarily throw with a big hyzer flip, so I need something just that can get a little bit of high-speed turn to pop up to straight, but it's stable enough to where it's able to fight out of that and just fall down a little bit at the end. And so as I was just digging through the internet trying to figure out which disc would be most likely to do that, that's how I stumbled onto the Tern and the Orc. Generally speaking, the Orc is going to be a little bit more overstable than the Tern, but both of them should be very much in my wheelhouse of power as well as strength. I should be able to get both of them in the 380 to 400 foot range, assuming I'm doing it like I'm supposed to, like I think a disc is supposed to fly. The weird thing about this particular round is because there was so much dew on the ground, the towel I brought with me just was soaked after about 4 holes. So the discs were super slippery the whole time, which is definitely not something that I'm used to because I've been throwing Vibrams for so long. Even though I have a couple of champion style discs in my bag, they're just rarely used. They're more for finesse shots. It's not really a drive off the tee that I'm using. The Pro Orc that I throw, the reason I have that one is because it's grippier than the regular champion ones. So in this round, a lot of early releases that I would not have expected were there, but also equally surprising is at the very end, you'll see my scores for the Orc versus the Tern. And I went ahead and added my regular average round according to UDisc. I've played this course here at Zube about 20 times. And so I put my average rounding within, appropriate measures, because UDisc will have like 2.8, for example, as a whole. So I'd round up to 3. And if it was like 2.2, then I'd round down to 2. But I put my average round on there. And surprisingly, one of these discs held up really well to my average round, even though during the round, I didn't think I was doing that well with it. So I remember after I played this round here, I called my older brother up, or Nathan, y'all know Nathan. He's the one that does all the awesome drone videos of the courses. I called Nathan up and I was telling him about this and just how disappointed I was in the round because I didn't feel like I threw the Orc very well, but I ended up just beating my average on the course with the Orc, which was weird. Whereas I felt like I liked the Tern more. The Tern was still a smidge more overstable than I expected it to be. In my mind, I thought I would be able to get more S-curve out of it. But once again, I throw a little bit wonky with a hyzer flip to straight. And this brand new Tern right out of the box is a smidge more overstable than I wanted it to be. But it still flies much more closely to the disc that I'm trying to replace. And I'm pretty sure the Orc is, even though I did better in this round with the Orc just feels a little bit more overstable than I want it to be. Not that I think it's bad. It actually flies like my overstable O-laces that I have in my bag, but it's not my go-to O-lace that I'm trying to replace. So definitely, I think both of them will make it into my bag, but I need to figure out how to not early release by having slippery discs, which I know the solution to that is don't play right after a rainstorm, like when you see a bunch of rain water on the course. Have better towels whenever I'm throwing, so the disc doesn't early release from my hands, and make sure I use a birdie bag or a rosin bag or something, which I did have during this round, but I was going pretty quick. It was early in the morning. I was trying to just get done so I can get back and do some family stuff this day. And I wasn't really, drying the disc 100%, wasn't really rosining the disc in my hand up as efficiently as I could. So all in all, I was not disappointed at all with the disc. Even though the score is going to reflect that I did worse with the Tern, I like the Tern better than the Orc for go-to straight power drives. Excuse me. The Orc definitely is going to find a place in my bag because, like I said, I carry a bunch of Vibram stuff. And even though the Vibram O-Lace is about a speed 13 disc, and the Orc and the Tern are both speed 11s, I believe. Oh, shoot. I don't even have them around here to look at them. Pretty sure they're both 11s. They're slower speed discs regardless. The flight path that I get out of both of them is very similar to the O-Laces. And even though the flippy O-Lace as well as my overstable O-Laces. The reason I carry and bag O-Laces is because I was sponsored by Vibram, but I don't think my arm speed can really generate the speed necessary to throw an O-Lace correctly, if that makes sense. So I used them out of, solidarity with the company that was giving me Frisbees and helping me out. And I can throw them pretty well, and because I've used them so long, I've gotten used to how they fly and what their distance is like. But basically with the Orc and the Tern, I can get the same distance as I can with an O-Lace, even though they're slower speed discs. So I think the Orc and Tern are both in my appropriate arm speed wheelhouse, even though I was even though I chose to use an O-Lace for various reasons, I don't really see a significant distance gain or loss by going from a speed 13 down to a speed 10, 11 disc. Hopefully that made sense as I'm trying to describe this here. But basically, I did like both of the discs. I wish they were a little bit more grippy, a little bit more tacky. That's probably where a G-Star or a regular Star version of these would be better for me. I just happen to have gotten killer deals on both the set of Orcs and the set of Terns that I got. Even this brand new Tern here, I am throwing, that disc only cost me $5 right out of the box, you know. And so I was able to get 6 of those brand new. I'm sorry, no, 8 of those Terns brand new for $5 a piece. So that was nice to be able to have those for just super inexpensive. And then the Orcs came from the factory second store that I posted a video about a few months ago, where I was able to get those with free, basically free. I got a bunch of discs for basically just shipping. So with that being said, the price was right to have throwers as well as backups on 2 discs that are in the wheelhouse of what I'm looking to try and throw. The one thing I thought that was very interesting for this disc also is they skip so much more than what I'm used to. Vibram does not skip at all. When I'm throwing my champion style like frisbees, you know, mostly it's a zone that I throw. I have a Discraft zone that's in Big Z plastic. Elite, no, I don't know what kind of plastic it is. It's Z plastic, there it is. So I throw a zone in Z plastic. I have a West Side Stag in a champion-like plastic. I don't know what they actually call it, but it's champion-style plastic. And that's basically it. Those are the only 2 discs that I throw in a champion version. Everything else I throw is Vibram or that one Pro Orc that I have. So everything's super grippy, super tacky, and it doesn't skip. I was blown away by how much the disc would skip today as I was throwing these discs around, because I just wasn't used to it. I'd hit a spot and they'd skip another 30 or 40 feet off to the side, and it was just the weirdest sensation. So it was trying to force me to throw a little bit differently in anticipation that the skip would get the disc closer to the basket like I was looking for. Also, when I was originally planning out this round, I didn't realize how many times I take a mid-range and just kind of throw a turnover shot rather than a forehand shot. And so it was neat having to be forced to throw a forehand shot, since I couldn't just finesse one of these Orcs or Terns, you know, 260 feet or so. So it's really neat to just do something a little bit different. Definitely threw a lot more forehands this round than I normally do while playing Zube. And even while throwing forehand, compensating for skip, feeling like I was not on my A game and having to putt with distance drivers, I was pleasantly surprised with my overall final score at the end of the round. So I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoy Zube Park. It's a fun place to be able to go around and just throw. It's, you know, park style, consistent shots, have some trees to have to go around, but definitely not anything super crazy. So regarding these discs, I definitely liked them, definitely enjoyed them. I look forward to the Tern, playing a little bit more with it as my real go-to driver. Definitely look forward to figuring out how the correct angle will be for that. I don't feel like I threw quite as far with either of these discs today. I was in the 360 range, and so maybe I suffer from internet distance issues, but I didn't feel like I was able to get it as far as I could, mostly because I think I was early releasing, and as well as, you know, just a little bit more slippery from the disc. But I think I can get it up to where I normally need to. Like I said, I lost my O-Lace, my go-to O-Lace already, so the Terns are going to be making their way in the bag easily. I already have a few overstable versions of the O-Lace that are still in my bag, which I have not lost yet. So I imagine that the Orcs will be making their way into the bag fairly soon. More than anything, it's just going to take me taking them and going around and playing a little bit more with them, getting more comfortable and more used to the discs. I cannot believe I shot as well as I did with the Orc. That just absolutely blows me away. And I didn't realize that I shot that well until right now, after I edited all the video together and went back and recalculated my score of each round, or of each disc. So the Orc, I did better than my regular average round. The Tern, I did not do as well as I thought I did with the Tern, even though the Tern flies more like I want it to. So a little bit of stuff on my own game that I need to work through and get squared away, but ultimately happy with both of the discs, both the Champion Orc and the Champion Tern. Happy with the flight patterns that they both do. Not happy with how slippery they are. I can fix that with a towel and a rosin bag. And not happy with the skip. I'm not quite sure how or if I'm going to be able to fix that yet. Maybe it was just the dew and the early morning and the previous rain on the course. Maybe that's how Champion discs really fly. I'm going to have to play with that a little bit more. But thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate your support here to the channel. Nathan and I have both been commenting that it's been cool to watch everybody, you know, subscribing and liking and leaving comments. We appreciate that. It's fun for us just as our hobby, as we all get to share the sport of disc golf together that we know and like so much. If you have any questions about these two discs or any other disc, please be sure to leave us a comment below or shoot us a message in Facebook or something like that, and we'll make sure and get to talk with y'all. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting our channel. Talk to y'all later.